Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, here we go. It is the Super Bowl Monday KVJ After the Show podcast. There's a lot of people just limping through their day, and on top of it, it's a rainy Monday. So.
I know. I mean, this weather is not helping.
No, it's just tough, isn't it?
It does make you it makes you sleepy.
It makes me want a hot cheese dip and a nap.
Yeah.
In that order. Yeah. Some hot cheese in a crock pot left over from Super Bowl party.
I feel good about my weigh-in. I actually could have a little fun, I can get a little fun today.
Get a little sassy?
Fuck yeah.
Keep an eye on that suits.
Yeah, look, if the kid, the prodigy, beats me, my hat and pants are off to him. Good for him. We're both losing weight, so I think it's already a win.
Yeah, you guys are both doing great. You started, both of you, at 182. You're at 176, so you're 6 pounds down in 4 weeks. And Suits is W at 12 pounds down. He's at 170 now.
He does not want to run around naked. Or whatever we're
in
doing.
A bikini.
He doesn't want to do any of it.
I think we're at the mankini, and then we'll figure out exactly where we're going to put you in that and how. But
yeah, whatever you want.
Do a weigh-in at Publix, and then probably, somewhere right in that vicinity. It will not be good for the loser. You definitely don't want to lose it.
Or the person filming, because they're going to have to run along with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be Sweet Denny's.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Super Bowl last night, not an overly competitive game. It wasn't anything that, I guess it was good. Ultimately, I was able to go to bed early part of the third quarter or halfway through. Whenever the Buccaneers got to 31, it was 31-9. I went to bed at the perfect time for me because there was no more scoring left to happen, and the rest of it was just Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback, running for his life the entire fourth quarter and throwing the ball in desperation heaves any way he could. And Tom Brady just, again, so poised. Amazing.
I could tell he was gonna take no prisoners when they showed him versus Mahomes, and they showed when they do the side by side, Brady just had something with the hair, the look.
Well, it's old hat. I mean, this is his 10th Super Bowl. I was thinking about that. By the time you've done anything 10 times, and you say, what an intimidating stage. And I think it was the punter for the Chiefs. You could tell he was just shook. His first punt, he drops the ball, and then the second one, he shanks it and it only goes like 20 yards. I mean, and they kept talking about it, the announcers too, as it was happening, just saying, you could see this guy. I get it. You got maybe 100 million people watching this thing, and yeah, it's jarring. But Tom Brady walks out there, and it's just like coming to work on a Tuesday. On a job he's been doing for 30 years.
Yeah, he's almost like surgical.
Yeah, he struts out. And he's like, he's waving to his kids, family, whatever it might be. Hey, calmly, and somebody hands him a football, and he's like, okay, here, I've done this 9 times before. I'm good. Yeah. I got this.
Mahomes' kid wants to be Tom Brady's son. Does Mahone have a kid?
Not yet.
No, okay, never mind. Joke didn't work. I'm tired too, dog. Virginia's got the meats.
I've got the meat hangover from eating too much meat yesterday.
I made a cocktail and a half last night. Too late. It was too late to make them.
Timing is key on drinking, yeah.
I fucked it up on that. I went way too late with it.
Yeah.
It's probably more than a cocktail. What am I saying? Probably 3 drinks.
Okay.
Hard.
Yeah, okay.
3 cups of vodka.
Belly full of whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, Brady got 5th time as a Super Bowl MVP, 7th Super Bowl, 10 tries. Further cementing now with the second team, 3 decades. He's got a Super Bowl ring, and it just goes on and on and on and on. The only thing that he did poorly was that commercial. He sucks at acting. That commercial with he and the Bronk, or the Gronk.
You're the Bronk.
I'm the Bronk, yeah. I'm not doing any Super Bowl commercials.
Nobody asked.
Yeah, and Gronkowski for T-Mobile. That was the only one. And I've heard this because I was looking at a list of former football players' acting careers, and there's definitely a good list and a bad list. Tom Brady, oddly enough, is on the bad list. He was on Entourage.
Dude was terrible on Entourage. Terrible.
Yes.
It was, in fact, they always would have cameos of not only football players and athletes, they'd have musicians on there. Kanye was rough with acting a little bit.
So they've got a list of football players that cannot act, and they're terrible. Terrell Owens has tried it before. Brett Favre has tried it. Terrible.
I thought Brett Favre was good in Something About Mary. I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass. I thought
okay, all right. Joe Namath makes the bad list.
Aw.
And Brian Bosworth.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because he did
The
so many
Boss.
he did shitty movies.
Yeah. On the good list of former football players that can act, they got The Rock, probably the greatest. In fact, I saw his rookie card. It's going for a good chunk of money. His college football rookie card. You know, he went to the U and Miami. It sold for $45,100.
Wow.
I started going back and watching The Rock videos when he really started to pop as a wrestler, when he was really getting over and getting popular. My gosh. Amazing on the microphone. Just so fucking good.
Oh, he was what, second generation at least?
But I mean,
wrestler, his dad had done it. So he
blows
grew
his
up in
dad
it.
out the water. Just the showmanship and how funny he was or is.
Yeah, well, I think
He's
that's
not
just
dead.
it.
No, but as a wrestler, he was on there a lot, and he brought a lot of great moments to wrestling.
Yeah, he was solid, but he is, I guess, the greatest, you would say.
Out of it goes The Rock, then Hogan.
And I know it may be iffy to call him a former football player because I don't even think started at the U. I think he was backing up Warren Sapp.
He's the best
I get.
football. Yeah, he's the best
Yeah.
football.
Terry Crews.
Yes, very good.
Yep. Carl Weathers.
Awesome. I didn't know he played football.
Yep. Jim Brown. Back in
Yes.
the day, he actually left football, did The Dirty Dozen, a bunch of other movies, and Burt Reynolds.
Who did he play for?
He played for Florida State. If you're going to give it to The Rock, you got to give it to Burt Reynolds because they played the same amount in college.
Well, then The Rock's got some competition then, because Burt's a legend as well.
He is. So, yeah, I think it'd be between Burt Reynolds and The Rock for the greatest former football player at any major level. And I guess it's only good if you count. You can't count high school.
I feel like we're missing some football players that acted, that were popular.
OJ.
OJ was fucking great in Naked Gun.
OJ was good.
He was
You're right.
Norbert. He was so good at that.
He's
in that
on the
role.
good list. Terry Bradshaw. He was in Failure to Launch, at least.
He's got a reality show right now on E, The Bradshaw Bunch.
Right. How
And
is that?
It's kind of fascinating. I just like a peek into super ultra wealthy families and how they live. And so he's got this ranch, and it's him and his daughters and his wife, and they're all on there, and it's mildly amusing.
Goldberg from wrestling was also on the Falcons. He's acted in movies before. A lot of those big-time wrestlers, when they had their run or their push, there'd always be some kind of shitty movie that wanted to get promoted, so they'll bring a wrestler in to play one of the parts so they can get it talked about during wrestling.
It's a good move.
It is never a good movie, though.
You know what? It's kind of a natural progression for a lot of these people who are there that we're talking about, because they will go college football, and when they realize they're not going to make it the NFL, sometimes they go into wrestling, and then wrestling is a great kind of it's an in-between, because you're using your physicality and your size to get in, but then you really work on your acting through the wrestling, and then you graduate from wrestling. It's exactly what The Rock did. And there's other people who've done that. I can't think of what his name is, but there's another. He's big popular right now. Is it Roman Reigns, I think?
Roman Reigns.
I think he was a guy that played for like Wisconsin or some team like that.
He's that guy that his hair's always wet.
He's a little rough on the mic.
Somebody's saying Batista. He played football. That makes sense. And he's, man, Guardian of the
Jack.
Galaxy.
That guy's jacked.
Yeah, he was in Super Bowl commercials last night, too. He's actually very funny in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Batista's great.
He's just so rough and he looks like he poops muscles.
Yeah.
He's just everything about him is just.
It is, yeah. But he's got some comedic chops as well.
He
His
does.
timing in Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. Some of the stuff he did.
He's lippy too. He gets on social media and he
Does
talks
he?
shit about the movie production in the studio and stuff.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Funny. Somebody said Roman Reigns played for Georgia Tech. So that's kind of it. Brock Lesnar, not that he's really doing movies. Is Brock Lesnar doing any movies yet? But yeah, he played, I think he was a Wisconsin guy. So, I don't know if he's doing it or not. Peyton Manning. You know what? Peyton is very good.
I think he's funny, too.
Oh, my gosh. He's hysterical.
He is really talented.
Yeah, he is doing a lot of interview stuff. There was one segment he does because he and Tom Brady are good friends, but he trolls Tom Brady all the time. And Tom Brady had this one thing where Tom Brady called a timeout when they didn't have timeouts, I think is what it was. Oh, no, it was downs. And he said, Tom
Brady got the downs wrong.
Yes.
I remember that.
Have you seen Peyton Manning doing the commentary on that?
I know.
He's like, Tom, I know you know the big move from the AFC, the NFC. And he says, here you are, you're signaling for a fourth down. He's like, or for a fifth down. He's like, but in the NFC, they, just like the AFC, only get 4 downs. And so the whole time it's a brilliant troll job on Tom Brady.
I love it.
And he also trolled him really well when they did the golf classic. They all did the...
Yes, they were mic'd up.
Yes. And Peyton was trolling Tom Brady pretty well. He's like, I would have rather played this in a place that hates you, like Indianapolis or New England.
I love that off the cuff when they just mic those guys up and let them just go.
Yeah.
That to me is awesome.
Until they forget they're talking, they have a mic on and they start talking about their mistresses.
That could be a problem. But yeah, I would put them on the good list as well. All right, anybody we forgot, you can let us know. Send an email, mail@kvjshow.com, or hit up the text as well. Checking that, 877-979-WRMF, 877-979-9763 here at the KVJ Show. Let me see, got a couple other emails here. Somebody said, V, so terrified of the COVID-19. Said, I listened on the podcast a couple weeks behind. V had said something about malls and people not going out, and Jaybird responded, there are still people going out? This made me laugh so hard because my fuck friend and I are going to Vegas Valentine's Day weekend. We have tickets to go to a sex party while we're there.
What?
So yes, V, there are people that don't care and still live life like normal. That's interesting because I've heard they just busted up another big-ass orgy in, I think it was Southern California.
I mean, this just in. People like to fuck.
Well, they're doing it in mass orgies. Like, they're not even keeping it monogamous one-on-one. They don't
Yeah, I mean,
mind.
to me, if you're going to an orgy, I would go ahead and... You're probably not real sensitive to COVID, probably. If you're going to orgies... And that's nothing against people that go to orgies. I just would imagine you're probably... not, COVID's not top of mind. You're not thinking about the 19, you're thinking about the 69.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you do you, but it's not for me. I mean, even if it wasn't
Orgies
for
or
COVID.
COVID?
Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID, I still wouldn't be going to an orgy.
Panda comes to you one night after work. He's like, babe, I don't want you to be mad. I just want to see how you feel about this. What are your thoughts on us having an orgy? What's your reaction?
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're not doing that. That's the great thing about Panda. Like, he's super reserved. Like, he wouldn't want to do anything like that. He's not going to be that husband that comes to me and says he wants to do all kinds of crazy, bring other people and wacky stuff.
Yeah, you're too moody for orgies.
Yeah, as far as traveling, I'd seen that international travel, they're expecting may not be all the way back until 2023 or 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for Florida's economy that relies on international travel. That's what some health experts are saying. They say we got to get to a point where about 2/3 of the people in the world have been vaccinated in order to get there. Dang.
Yikes.
Rooks.
Bikes.
Dang.
I didn't realize, and I'm not trying to, bring up COVID, but I didn't realize China had masks on for so long.
Well, they've been doing it. They've had other stuff like they had to deal with SARS
Okay, that makes sense.
back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they're used to wearing masks at this point.
We didn't fuck around with no SARS?
No, we didn't have to deal with it.
I guess we didn't.
I'm saying it wrong. SARS!
Yeah, the pirate disease.
Pirates.
It was SARS. What was it? Was it swine flu that was the one, or is it SARS that they were really, really worried about?
Bird flu.
Well, I know bird flu was, but that did nothing. That fucking went out so quick. As soon as Oprah covered it, bird flu went bye-bye. But I thought it was the swine flu that they were nervous that it was about to mutate or some shit.
We had a few. I think maybe bird flu was the one that they had thought. And here we are sitting back because we had never lived through any kind of pandemic. And so there were always those things that would come up. Oh, look out. This is, and now if we got a threat like that, imagine how we'd respond now after going through what we went through with COVID. Because I remember always hearing in the news, and Oprah was doing specials on it, and she was all freaking out about this bird flu. And we're like, what?
I do think, though, that's how we're going to go. From the birds.
You think?
I think the birds are the ones that's going to screw us over.
I was having lunch yesterday in Miami on the water, and a bird shit on me.
Play the lottery.
I know. That's what the man at the next table said. I'm like, I don't feel very lucky. I have bird poo in my hair.
That's what they tell people when they're having a shitty day. A bird just shits on you. Play the lottery. It's good luck.
It's good luck.
Because we know you're sad inside.
How was your time in Miami?
It was actually lovely. I have never been to this area of South Beach, so it's called like the south end of it. It's all residential down there. It's not anything like Lincoln Road or like the Fontainebleau or all that. It's a totally different vibe because it's all these people that live down there and play in that area.
Okay.
My friend said it's coming back. It's booming again. He doesn't feel unsafe anymore. He feels great about, what Miami's doing.
Okay.
It was busy. It was a beautiful day, too, but there was lots of people walking along the waterfront. We went to the South Pier. Have you ever done that?
South Pier? I don't think so.
It's really pretty down there.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You see any rainbow fish or any sheephead?
No, I didn't see any fish. I saw some crab on my plate at lunch. I got a huge thing of crab.
You get a crab and you find out that you're eating it and the crab was pregnant. Does that gross you out, or is that extra little appetizer? Is that like extra little meatballs?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Because my dad caught one time and made it, and there was this sponge on the bottom of it. He's like, I think that's the babies. Yeah, man, I can't fuck.
Giant plate of crab I had
I can't fuck with
yesterday.
no crab, man. I hate it.
Dang.
We went hard.
Yeah.
You like
went for
crab,
it.
Kev?
Yeah, I do. I don't like working for crab. I'm too lazy for it.
We went to a place called Smith and Walensky,
Oh, yeah, I know that place.
and they crack it for you. So you don't have to do any work.
That's a fancy joint.
You ever go to that one buffet? It's out in Jupiter. It's right on the water. It might be the crab. Is there a crab house or a crab pot up in Jupiter? Where it's overlooking the water. They have a seafood bar. Every time I go, I think of you. Fucking aquatic legs galore, just hanging everywhere.
Like jetties
Not
or
jetties.
Utiki?
Not Utiki either. If you say it, I'll know it. They always have a big old buffet going of aquatic shit. You would love it.
I would.
I always get excited, like, oh, I'm going to go. It's a buffet. There's 2 tables. And then I get there. I'm like, fuck, I hate everything here.
Love Street is opening, and they're just doing their slow rollout right now. I don't know if it's open
Okay.
to the public yet, but that's Joe Namath's project, and it's 3 different restaurants right across the water from the Jupiter Lighthouse. And it's also a market. There's like an upscale restaurant, one that's more like a brew house kind of vibe, raw bar. They've got all kind of fun stuff.
Would you like a grilled cheese and crab? Is that good? Does that sound good to you?
I would eat that.
What kind of cheese? A Prove? A Swiss?
I would eat that.
All right, interesting. All right.
Yeah, usually you don't pair crab meat with cheese. Usually you don't.
That sounds
It's
gnarly.
not the perfect pairing. The cheese and the crab meat is not perfect, but I would still eat that.
Gosh, I'm so hungry today.
Me too.
I want to just.
I have so much meat leftovers.
I'm craving. I want to have a French fry party. Speaking of orgies, I want a French fry orgy.
We had French fries yesterday at Smith and Wolinski. Got a steak, fries, all that crab, and then this giant. I gotta show you a picture of this cake we had. A coconut cake. Oh, Jaybird, it was so good. Look at that giant cake.
You're making me wet.
Yeah, this is a guy who's doing great on his diet.
I'm showing him all this
You're
food.
just rubbing it in his face.
I think I'm gonna have a bad day today.
It's raining. You
Yeah.
can't be on a diet.
Dude, it's almost summertime.
Rain and salad, that won't work.
Or springtime.
What are you
Spring
gonna
break,
get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost summer.
It's almost springtime, I should say.
Somebody texted in and said, I'm in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. A couple suggestions. What is best for Sunday brunch and a romantic dinner at night for the 14th? Don't do a lot of brunch in Lauderdale, but the one place I've heard is pretty good. I think I've been there once for it. Louis Bossi's is a
Yes.
good place for brunch that they've got right there on Las Olas.
I've heard great things about that place.
Yeah, and that area is kind of cool. You got El Camino just down the street and a bunch of cool little places there. So
I've done the brunch at the Ritz there on the water. It's really nice at the Ritz-Carlton.
and that might not be a bad idea because they want also romantic dinner night on the 14th.
What about the sailfish? You have the sun setting. You've got the fish jumping.
Fort Lauderdale.
Never mind, I'm backing out.
It's like,
He's telling them to come up to Riviera Beach.
yeah, you got maybe you could do something on the water like the W or the Conrad. It's got some stuff there if you want to be on the water and check something out. So I don't know, a couple thoughts. They have like Cooper's Hawk. That's kind of generic though, isn't it? Do you ever like going to a place when you go to a different town? Or do you want to go someplace unique, Virginia?
I do like unique. And I was kind of a little bit annoyed yesterday because my friend wanted to go to Smith and Wolinski, but he had told me we were going to Joe's Stone Crab, and he switched it up because the Smith and Wolinski is right on the water, and it's beautiful, and it was a beautiful day. And the Joe's Stone Crab, it's kind of not as beautiful, and the outdoor dining is kind of like in a parking lot.
I always hate that when I go somewhere that's not this area and I'm at like a Denny's. That happened in Jersey. The first place I went to was a Denny's, and it was the shittiest grilled cheese. What the fuck, Denny's? It's called grilling the sandwich. Good Lord.
I love trying unique places that are like in that area where like the owner might be in the restaurant. I love that.
Hey, it's Pop. Look at Pop. Pop, he runs this place. Hey.
You know what's a fun place in Fort Lauderdale? That Moderano's. That place
Cafe
gets,
Moderano?
Yeah, that gets jumping at night.
She
Yeah,
sounds
that's-
hot. I don't know who that is, but
So
yeah, I
it's
think that's
Italian.
Coconut Creek, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's east, right?
It's Oakland Park, right? Yeah,
Maybe.
you get off on Oakland Park and you go east, I believe.
They do delicious food, great Italian food, and then it turns into like a little clubby vibe. You got the DJ in there
Okay.
playing the music, and you're eating.
got a
and
belly full of lasagna. Let's twerk on that thing.
I love it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I think we're going to do a Miami weekend for the Queen's birthday coming up. She was throwing that out, and that's just a couple weeks away. So if anybody got any suggestions?
You should definitely do. I loved
South Pier, I think.
South Pier.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to stay in Brickell, so
Okay,
yeah,
I like
won't be
it.
too far.
I like this comment. Marion in the chat room says, I'll write you a French fry orgy story, Bird. I want to hear that shit. Ooh. I want to hear it.
Did she have a French fry orgy?
I don't think she's going to write it. I want to see how that develops.
Yeah. You're gonna get yourself all worked up and have to go home and tug it.
Tug my French fry.
His curly fry.
If I curly fry.
Does it curl?
If it's good, that curves a little bit.
It does.
My penis?
You have a curving penis?
Well, no, I think it curves slightly. It's not straight like a.
Is it looking right or left?
No, I would say it just has just a slight, kind of straight ahead, like a slight.
Like a skate
Well, it's
park?
if you look at this brush right here, a dick usually isn't just straight like an arrow. There's a little bit.
Yeah, it looks up.
Interesting.
It looks up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
It's got a sunny disposition.
well, it's kind of like, he's he's swimming, and you got to
Yes, you're right. It's like
Yeah.
the Loch Ness Monster. Although I saw a porn where this guy had gonzo dick. It was the reverse. The
It was looking down.
it was like faucet cock. It was shaped like that. Yeah, I don't know. Different strokes, different folks.
Dicks are weird.
They are. Put that on a shirt.
more weird than others, just like people.
You're right.
Dicks are weird, but so are vaginas.
Vaginas are.
It's a good opening line question. How weird is your dick?
Follow up. How weird's your vagina? I think there are some really weird vaginas out there.
There are.
Tricky. They're tricky vagina. Those trap doors in there.
They hide that clitoris, some of them.
Oh, you gotta
you gotta root around in there.
gotta dig.
Gotta dig. Got a couple show recommendations. Somebody said check out Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's on the documentary history side. It's extremely interesting and peaceful to watch. Could answer some of Jaybird's questions. There are 3 seasons, and I think you can stream them on Disney Plus, even though I've watched them on Fox for free, pre-recorded. Great late-night show. So there you go.
I love it.
Somebody else, Ashley, said a great Spanish show is Los Espookies. I believe I've got that on my Netflix queue. I think that's where that is. So if you're looking for a solid show, and I did finish season 2 of Monarca, which is that show I was telling you about with Mexico City. Any language, it is a great show.
That's cool.
It is really solid. Yeah,
Okay.
the writing in that and the acting in that is very good.
I'm looking to get into another series after Better Call Saul. I think I got about a season and a half. That'll be done in 2 or 3 days, probably. By the end of this
Yeah.
week, I'll be done. I think I'm in that mode right now. I was kind of done with the drama for a minute. I want the drama shows again. Give me something good.
Okay.
I want something good. I want drugs in it. I want some murder.
Monarca would do it. There's,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of drugs, a little bit of murder, the cartel's involved.
Maybe someone crosses somebody over.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
I love the
It's
double
all
cross.
family.
My favorite thing in wrestling is the double cross, and I love it in this drug
Oh, this
shows.
is all double crossing. It's twisting and turning. In fact, you ever have a show where it's almost too many twists and turns?
Yes.
It's just like, oh.
I'm not that smart for some shows because I'm like, wait, I'm confused.
It gets to be a lot. So the Sopranos,
Yeah.
towards the middle of the Sopranos, there was 9 storylines going on.
Yeah. So it's like riding a roller coaster. But if you can deal with a Spanish language show with subtitles, and I think the way they have it now, you can also do an overdub in the language you want to watch. So that's how the Lupin was, that French show. I did that in the English overdub because my wife was like, I'm not going to sit here and read.
I think for Virginia, I'm going to give that Bling show an episode. I want to watch it.
Bling Empire?
Yeah, I want to see how terrible,
You're going to hate it.
or do I get sucked in?
It's possible. It's not your cup of tea.
Sometimes my cup of tea is kind of fucked, though.
I know. That's true. You're all over the place too, and some like you could be on like a chick kind of mood and totally get into Bling Empire.
Absolutely.
It could happen.
That's what happens when I watch the Sorority Club on MTV. That a marathon. I watch every sorority episode, and I was going through it.
And a lot of people were starting to talk about WandaVision as well. If you've been holding off on that, waiting to hear what it was, because I think it was a little goofy to start the first couple episodes, but I did see multiple mentions today that show is getting good and having some guest appearances and whatever. Somebody want to know, what about Weird and Whatever? When are you going to restart the Weird and Whatever podcast? Bird strangely missing Beckett's obnoxious laugh.
Aww.
It's a love-hate thing.
The last week in February, we'll be doing it.
Okay.
So a couple more weeks, we should be back to it. We may or may not have the studio ready, but we'll at least do the Zoom stuff
Okay.
at minimum. The studio should be ready to go, I'd say, by March. I'm working on that now, so I just don't know how long it's going to take, but definitely by the end of February.
Gotcha. And somebody asking here about radio. So another morning show that I follow said there is a formula in radio shows, the Dick, the Dork, and the Deer. I can totally see it on their show, but I've been thinking about it for your show, and I can only come up with a dork and 2 dicks. I mean that in the most loving way possible. I love you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
There's a lot of people that have said that. Mostly people that are like old school say that. Oh, the dick, the dork, and the deer. That's the radio formula for success.
You gotta follow that formula. You have to.
It's kind of the old school way of thinking.
Yeah, that was really the talk. I remember when I really first heard it. It was, when I first got into radio, it was 93, 94. And I think when I went to California, the guy was like, we got the perfect dick dork deer here. And you're the dork, you're the dick, you're the deer. And they really laid it out and said, here's what your role is and here's what you do. But it's been a while. And I know, when we started this show in 99, that was not even something in the thought process on how to do it.
I remember when I first got on radio, they're really big on, like you're talking about, making sure you know your role. I remember
it's kind of more the obnoxious coaching we talk about that we hear behind the scenes.
So you had what's the one with Deborah Messing and is it Will and Grace?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had Will and Grace, and then you had Jack
and Karen.
I remember the radio consultant. So Kevin and Virginia, they are Will and Grace. You and Marianne, you guys are more of like the sideline, like a Jack, like a what's her name?
Karen.
You want to come from that angle? I'm like, okay. They just always had a fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think guys like that just come up with that stuff to justify a paycheck.
I agree with V on that.
There's a lot of guys that call themselves radio coaches or talent coaches, and I mean, they're kind of just making it up as they go.
Well, your boy that you were ranting on,
Steve.
That's a prime example of. I'm not saying that his methods don't work with some shows. You just can't live in absolutes. Only a Sith lives in absolutes.
You're right.
Well, I think they try to explain everything, and sometimes there's just a gut for stuff, and there's some things you can put metrics to, other things it's just a gut feeling, and I would hate to ever formulate anything. Either you have an eye or an ear for something and say, you know what, no, it could work. You could have two dorks. You could have two dicks.
Totally.
Absolutely.
You could have two deers. It doesn't even matter. I mean, entertaining is just entertaining.
I would not listen to two deers. That sounds boring.
But you're right. There is a market for two deers on a radio station.
Everybody just wants to explain why something works. And, I think it's the same way with musical artists. I can't sit here and define it. It's art. It's either
gut.
works or it doesn't. It's chemistry. It's about relationships. And oddly enough, some things work and some things don't. Let's not try to formulate everything. Let's just listen and be like, okay, is that working? Yeah, I don't know why, but it does.
It's been kind of a knock in baseball, Virginia, where they do a lot of they break down every little thing and every situation's got percentage. But there's times where, you've got percentage right there, but there's also the gut feeling where the percentage isn't always accurate. There is a gut level to anything in life.
Yeah. So to me, ultimately, I think with radio, you find some entertaining people. And you don't necessarily always have to have this kind of perfect balance of dick, dork, deer.
We ain't got no deers.
Yeah.
Denny's is our deer.
Nothing but dicks.
Yeah.
Sweet Denny's is our deer.
I think I would really like a show of just all dicks. It should be, just call the show a bunch of dicks. I would be like, if I were coaching somebody, let's just call the show a bunch of dicks and just be assholes the entire time. It's going to be entertaining, be funny and dicky.
They've had shows like that. They're all dicks.
Right. We don't need a deer in here. We don't need a dork.
I love it. I love it.
I love it too.
Just a bunch of dicks. All right. Well, y'all, thanks for the emails. You can send them to us, mail at kvjshow.com, mail at kvjshow.com. Thank you very much to that last email from Melissa all the way in Washington State. Sending that.
Nice.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.